gave us a basket.
We need somebody to cook.
My name's Tim Glasser. I'm 48 years old, and I've been reenacting for almost 10 years now. Started out with an interest, just a general interest in history. Went to a few reenactments as a spectator, and was real interested in it. My son, who was very instrumental in getting us into this, is also interested in history, and finding something for the family to do as a group that we all could do together that was a very wholesome thing to do. We turned to reenacting, and that's why I got into doing it in the family. As I've gotten a little bit older, though, I find that fighting is a little bit more difficult physically, marching in the hot weather and everything. And actually what we're doing now is getting into doing telegraph, part of SCARD, which is reenactors, signal reenactors. What we actually do is set up telegraph stations and send messages from camp to camp. Now, this is a demonstration of the Army dot code, which they did change every day. It was an encrypted code that if the enemy intercepted, if you didn't have the right combination of letters and numbers, you wouldn't have any idea. But it was very simple. They could teach somebody in a matter of 15 minutes how to send and receive messages. All they did was they did one click or two clicks, and those formed all the letters of the alphabet in combinations of ones and twos. So like today, 1 and the 2 might be an A. Tomorrow it may be a C. So unless you had the code book, there wasn't any way of knowing. So that's how they did it. They then would send a combination of 3s. That would be the end of a word. They sent 2 of them. That was the end of the sentence. So when you write down what letters, what sounds you heard, and then you would translate that back in. You'd have your message, and you would hand it to your commander. So that's what we do. We come out on weekends for many reasons. Main reason that I do this is for education of the general public into the history of that period, of why the war actually was fought, what people were thinking, and to show them that people back in those days were people just like us. They had families, they had desires, they had wants, they had feelings that we have just like we do today.
I'm Joanne Glasser. I'm Tim's wife, and we've been doing this reenacting for quite a while now. It's a wonderful way to spend time together as a family and to also be outdoors and to experience camping. And also we made a lot of friends who, it's like a reunion every time you come to a reenactment to see all the different people from all the different places that you know and you get to visit with. And that's the only time that you see them.
How about your daughter? How does she feel about coming out?
Go, you.
Well, when we first started, I didn't really like it because I was in that age where you just didn't like anything. And but the more we've done it, and the more, the older I've gotten, the more stuff I'm allowed to do as a reenactor. And so I've gotten into doing stuff, and it's a lot of fun for all ages.
Do you attend in a year's time?
In the course of a year, I try to limit it to anywhere from 8 to 10. I try to do one large reenactment every year. Last year we did Gettysburg, the 135th, and this year we went to Grant versus Lee over in Brandy Station. Next year we're not sure where we're going to go. We have a yearly meeting every year, and that's what we decide as a group. It's a very democratic thing where we sit down and we look at all the events that are going to happen in the year 2000, and we decide as a group what events we're going to go to. We try to limit it to one a month. We could do it every weekend if you want to, and some people do. Some people, especially younger people like my son, who is only 19, he goes 2-3 events a month, and it's just a matter of time constraints when you get to my age, work and everything else.
So physically it's
demanding. You sleep on the ground. If it rains, you get rained on. If it snows, you get snowed on. So it is physically demanding.
Do you have any encouragement for other people in older age to take up the hobby?
Oh yeah, there's a whole range. One of the misnomers about reenacting is most people think you have to fight, you have to be a soldier. This is an example of that not being the case. There's a lot of living histories that can be done. There's people who do medical impressions, and they come out and they set up field hospitals. We have morticians that come out and actually set up at and display the caskets and ship the remains of the loved one back home. There are a lot of women who come out and do this. As I was saying earlier, it's a very family-oriented activity, and they have a lot of activities that women were involved in during the war, and they portray that also.
Before I go and make that phone call.
And I'll come up here and...
Because what if I'll just...
But only for one song. So keep playing the same song.
July 11th, 1861. In honor of that anniversary, we're going to hold a very brief memorial service.
First company right here. Third company. Let's report. Hey. Right. Face. Italia. Counter marks. 5 miles. Right. Mark.
We've been sponsoring reenactments of the Battle of Rich Mountain for a number of years now. This one on July 10th and 11th of this year of 1999 was the 5th time that we've done a reenactment. We're now doing it every other year, sponsored by the Rich Mountain Battlefield Foundation and hosted by the West Virginia Reenactors Association. We have reenactors participating from a number of states, not only West Virginia, but Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and some from Indiana this year, as well as some individuals from Florida and Maine. And we've been very pleased with the response and with what an excellent job the reenactors do of portraying the history, not only of the battle, but of the whole the whole period of the early Civil War period. We had some very interesting living history tours at the reenactment this year that gave an opportunity to go beyond just the battle scenes and see some other scenarios, hospitals and spies and bushwhackers and various other characters of the Civil War time. The reenactments are very important to us at Rich Mountain Battlefield Foundation because it not only gives us the chance to get the message out and tell people what the battle was about and why it's important, it also encourage them to come back and visit the battlefield at another time and see the original earthworks and the ground where the battle was fought. And it also helps us raise some support and some money to help keep the battlefield operating and help to take care of it and preserve it. And this all takes support from the public. We're totally a nonprofit organization, and we really appreciate all the help that the participants, the reenactors, the spectators have all given us in making this a success. Rich Mountain Battlefield Foundation has been working since 1991 to purchase and preserve the Rich Mountain Battlefield in Camp Garnett. We've been very fortunate and had very extensive support from many groups and individuals in making this happen. We now have over 400 acres that's been purchased and preserved as the battlefield property, the Rich Mountain Battlefield Civil War site. We're working on interpretation. We have some interpretive signs that will be installed very soon. We've had some signs up for some time. We have trails and a viewing platform. Some portion of the trails are handicapped accessible. And we're very excited about all the work that we've done there and about the improvements, the clearing, the taking care of the property that we've been able to do. We invite visitors to come and see the battlefield and walk the trails and look at the brochures. Also to come down to our visitor center in Beverly and see our displays there, our exhibits, and our gift shop, and show your support for Rich Mountain Battlefield. We can only do it because of the support of our visitors and our members of the Battlefield Foundation, and that